Sales areas are the point of entry for transactions. Once a sales area has been set up, it can be linked in many places throughout Jonas Encore. Let's take a look at all those available areas. Note that some of these areas may not be applicable to your club. If you make a change in any of these areas, don't forget to press the Save button after you've made your changes. First, we will start with System Administration, System Setup, which include the following programs. First, we have Billing Item Groups. And within the Sales Areas tab, you can restrict the group to specific sales areas. Billing Item Categories. In the Sales Areas tab, you can override the Billing Item Group restriction and restrict the category to specific sales areas. Billing Items. In the Sales Area tab, you can override the Billing Item category restrictions and restrict the item to specific sales areas. Payment Item Groups, categories, and items work the same way. Where in Payment Item Groups, you can restrict the Payment Item Group to specific sales areas. You can override the Payment Item Group restrictions and restrict the category to specific sales areas within the Payment Item categories. And for payment items, you can override the Payment Item category restrictions and restrict the item to specific sales areas. Then you have Facilities, and within the General tab, you can define your default sales area. The sales area can also be specified for most of the booking and reservation modules by navigating through the applicable tabs. Lastly, we have Workstations, and within the Point of Sale tab, you can define the default sales area. You can also use the Sales Area sub-tab to restrict this workstation to specific sales areas. Next, let's take a look at Point of Sale setups, which include the following programs. Here we have Sales Item Groups, where we can restrict a group to specific sales areas. Sales Item Categories, where you can override the Sales Item Group restrictions and restrict the category to specific sales areas. And Sales Items. In the POS tab and the Sales Area sub-tab, where you can override the sales item category restrictions and restrict the item to specific sales areas. Lastly is Accounts Receivable setups, which include the following programs. For fee billing agreements, within the General tab, you can specify your sales area. Minimum types. In the General tab, you can specify your sales area, and in the Sales Area tab, you can restrict the minimums to specific sales areas. Pricing rules, where you can restrict this pricing rule to specific sales areas. And if your club uses the Club Credit module, in the Credit Categories program, in that Sales Area tab, you can restrict redemption to specific sales areas.